Picking up where we left off, we're going to work on adding spring tension to the locks so they lock automatically. And I'll just do a quick overview on how the hinge blade works so far. The track will assist the knife on not budging when it's at the end of the track because, as you can see, it goes under one of the layers. So at the moment, the blade can't move forward at all. It's locked in place. So with the help of the slide, as you can see with this curve here, it'll wedge the locks unlocked. So as I move it forward, it moves that lock out of place, and the blade can move forward all the way to the front. And as you saw earlier, on the back of the blade, it goes underneath one of the layers, so it's basically wedging itself in place, and it can't move pretty much at all. So now, when I move the slide back, it undoes the front lock, and when this goes back a little bit, this piece that hooks onto the blade, it unlocks it, and it locks back in place back here. Here's a better view with the locks. So the next step is to attach springs right here onto the hook piece that hooks onto the back of the blade. And once the springs are attached to the hooks, it'll add spring tension to the blade, and when it's eventually unlocked, it'll shoot forward. Same thing when it's being retracted. So now that the back piece here is installed, when I move the slide forward, it should shoot the blade out. So at the moment, these pieces right here that assist the blade outwards aren't staying down. So what I'm going to need to do is cut a rectangle out of this aluminum and put it on the right side of the blade to hold it down. I've also made a spacer out of aluminum, the same thickness as the part that assists the blade, so that when this screws on here, and then this layer goes on top, it can actually go over the top of this piece, right here. After I've cut these out with the bandsaw, there's a little bit of a burred edge right here, so I'm going to be taking that off with the belt sander. As you can see, the blade isn't held in place very well when it comes to moving left and right. So to fix this, I'll add a piece of aluminum with a cut in it just large enough for the blade to pass through. This part needs to be precise, so to assist me, I'll be using super glue to set things in place while I tap or cut the piece. After this, I'll keep going with the layer that holds the hooks down. So after I screw this top piece back on here, I had to cut off a big chunk right here so that it wouldn't interfere with the springs. But after I do that, now the hooks are held on in place and the blade should go out and come back in. I just got done turning down this piece on the lathe, and now I need to thread the top. I just got done turning this piece out of some steel round stock. So what this piece is going to do is it's going to turn the up and down action of the blade into a turning action. This will be the end of part 3, and in part 4 I'll show you how I'll utilize the parts at the end to get the mechanism that retracts and detracts the blade to work through the flick of a wrist.